it's Ray. Welcome back to another video. I got a lot of positive feedback on my last unscripted video, so I thought I would do that again today, but it is extremely difficult to do this. I'm editing out all the long pauses between thoughts, but so many of you said you really enjoyed it, so here I am sitting in front of a list of bullet point notes so that I can keep myself on track, because originally this was all over the place with no obvious train of thought. Today I'll be doing a rant that started out as just a silly little thing that irritated me and turned into my experience with Tinder, the dating app. If you don't like whatever game I'm playing, don't worry about it too much because we won't be discussing it at all, and in the next video I'll be playing something else. Everything I'm about to say is just a generalization. When I say all women or when I say all men, I don't literally mean all women and I don't literally mean all men, because at one point I'm clearly making a comment about how I don't understand women, and I am one. So don't come after me in the comments about how I'm sexist. Don't come after me in the comments about how I've never experienced this before. This is just my own experience with Tinder. I thought it was funny. I thought you might enjoy it. So I've been posting relax videos. They're mostly for me, not only to relax, but also so that I can extend the amount of time I have before I have to put out another video. But in the last video where I was actually talking, I made a comment about how men on dating sites tend to just say and do whatever they have to do to shoot their shot, as if women don't also do this. Well, happy Pride Month. I'm pansexual or bisexual if you need that explained to you. If you were to ask me who I prefer the most, unfortunately that would be heterosexual cis men. And that's how I know being gay isn't a choice, because if it was a choice, I would be so much gayer. Men are a nightmare, but guess what? So are women. People are just a nightmare. People suck. But I often forget that people suck. And so a lot of the time, once I start thinking about things in terms of, well, men do this and women do this and they're not the same, I go to my Tinder app and I go into settings and I switch everything over to me only talking to women and only trying to date women. And let me tell you, it's a nightmare. And I used to listen to guys talk about how it's really difficult and none of them are real and how they won't talk to you. And I always thought, like, that's so stupid, because I get dates just fine, so other girls must also be talking to people, right? Right? Well, no, because I expect myself from people, which is wrong. So that's what it really comes down to, I think, is that people are just really awful. And I forget that women are also awful, because when I'm only looking at men's profiles, I see a lot of guys who talk about, I like to go rock climbing and parasailing and I like to do all these things, and I'm just like, I really like to nap. I'd like to nap as like a date. I don't want to go rock climbing or parasailing. I want to go skydiving, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to go skydiving every other week, and that's how it comes off to me. Like, dude, can we just relax? I don't want to do all this stuff with you. The other thing that I've noticed that mostly men do is they're just angry. Like, there's a lot of profiles where you could tell that guy is so angry with the world and maybe with women. And there are profiles that say stuff like, women on here thinking they can be so picky, and it just comes from a place of hatred. And I don't hardly ever see that with women, but I have noticed that both men and women, they both want to start a conversation with sex, and they both want to start a conversation with sending me their nudes. Like, you can't get pictures on Tinder. But I'm on other dating sites and I'm just using Tinder as an example. Tinder is the example. Most people will just send you sex stuff the first time they ever talk to you, as if when you're on the street, you just walk up to someone and you're like, hey, nice boobs. Like, what are you doing? No one talks to each other like that. Why are you doing this? The other thing I noticed, like with guys that talk about, I like to go rock climbing, I like to go hiking. For some reason, Most Tinder profiles, whether they're men or women, talk about how much they love hiking. Everyone loves hiking. And I like to go for walks. I like to go for walks in nature. I'm not into a 3-mile hike into the woods. Again, I would rather nap. There's also a lot of profiles that say no hookups, like a lot of them, which is really funny to me because people talk about how Tinder is a hookup site and then half of the profiles are people that don't want to hook up. And it's hard to explain to somebody that doesn't get this concept, but like half of you guys are saying no hookups, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just blows my mind that people talk about Tinder being a hookup site. The profiles with emojis, where it's just emojis, like you went through all of your emojis and picked out all the ones that reminded you of yourself. I can't read your hieroglyphs. You're gonna need to tell me in English words what all of that means. Okay, it's like reading a child's picture book. Like, can you just use your words? And then a good portion of Tinder is couples. Like I would say like a quarter. So you got half the people on Tinder talking about no hookups. The other half want hookups, but half of those people are couples, which is fine, whatever, do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. But it's just a lot. It's a lot of couples. This is probably not very interesting to you, but we're finally getting to the point that I wanted to make during this entire video. So I'm switched over to looking at the women on Tinder, and I notice there's a lot of zodiac signs. So I put my zodiac sign in my bio because I think it's cute, like it's something to pretend that's real. That stuff's not real, okay? Stop trying to act like, oh, the stars were in this position when I was born, so I'm gonna have exactly this personality, as if they're not all just generalizations that apply to pretty much everybody. It's called confirmation bias. It isn't real.
I'm a Sagittarius, which probably tells you way more than you need to know.
Yes, it tells us that you participate in the mass cultural delusion that the sun's apparent position relative to arbitrarily defined constellations at the time of your birth somehow affects your personality.
But I like to put it in my profile anyway because it's cute to think about. But there are people that take it so seriously. I had somebody that told me I was their best friend end a friendship because they found out what my zodiac sign was and claimed that all people that have that same zodiac sign are garbage, and so we couldn't be friends. And there are people on Tinder, women I should say, because I've never seen a man do this. I have not seen a single man on Tinder do this, where they tell you their zodiac sign and then tell you that it needs to match with theirs. Like, you have to be zodiac sign compatible. I haven't had that conversation once with a guy. I have not seen that on one man's bio, but I keep seeing these women with these outrageous profiles that are like, I'm a Pisces, so you need to be a Taurus. Like, I don't understand. Why does it matter so much? And now we have this thing where it's like Virgo rising and Capricorn sun and Virgo moon. What does that mean? What does that mean? Okay. Obviously, we are not all the same. I am a woman. That's very clear to all of you. And I don't understand this at all. So when I say, why do women, it's just a generalization, but why do women think that we understand this stuff? Why do women think that they're going to tell a man they're a Sagittarius and he's going to suddenly know all about them and what he needs to give them and what they need out of a relationship? And it's just like, no, it doesn't explain anything. You being a Capricorn doesn't explain anything to me. So now we're talking about crystal magic, and I just want to date with you, which is already difficult because women can barely flirt with each other. Bisexual and lesbians, they can't. We can't. We don't know if you're flirting or if you're just giving us compliments. If I go up to a girl, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're so pretty. She'll be like, thanks, girl. Like, no, honey, no, I'm hitting on you. We can't. You know, I went on a date with this guy one time that talked about crystal magic and talked about how we always walked on crystals and the earth has changed and now we don't walk on crystals anymore and how healing they are. And he talked about people's vibes. It was really weird. I've never experienced anybody talking like that, but unfortunately, because I'm taught to be sexist, just like we all are, I would imagine that would be something a woman would say, and it was just really bizarre to listen to, and I don't believe in any of that. Oh, by the way, after doing all those recordings, I found a guy on Tinder who was super into zodiac signs, so I can go jump off a cliff, I guess. Tell me what you think about all of this in the comments. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you want to expand on anything that I've said? What's your experience with Tinder and other dating apps? What are some of your crazy and ridiculous stories about dating? If you enjoy my content, please hit the like button, leave a comment for me, subscribe. Drink lots of water, sleep for 8 hours, cut out all the toxic people from your life. Stay tuned for an open conversation with me and my coworker about dating sites, and our side of the LGBTQ plus community. I'll see you next week, and goodbye forever. Oh my gosh, you guys, I just got my coworker to agree to talk to me about some of this. I didn't mean to turn this into a Pride Month thing, but I'm super excited to do this with her. Also, it might turn into a racial thing because she's Black and I'm white, and we like to talk openly about race issues, and we both believe that it's the only way to really fix things that are going on in our world today is to just talk openly about them and actually ask each other questions and be real with each other and not hate each other. So her and I'll sit in the office and talk our entire shift about race issues and Black culture issues, and we're just educating each other, and it's wonderful. Okay, so I just did a recording about how I was getting frustrated because I felt like men are so irritating, so I decided to switch my Tinder over to only talking to women. And I realized that they do the same stuff. Like they both want to like lead with sexual conversation right away. I thought only men did that.
I've never been on Tinder. Just
yeah.
stating that, like, I've never even tried to download the app or anything. I
Well,
haven't been interested.
My point is that men, not just on the app, but just men and women and the way that they behave.
Well, because
It's the app is the example.
I have heard about Tinder, it seems like it's only about hookups.
I'm so glad you said that.
But like I said, I haven't been on it, but from what I've heard, it seems like it's more like a hookup culture.
I'm so glad you said that because I can't wait to get to that point.
Okay. I think the problem is men and women are not that much different when it comes to as a partner. I honestly don't think, like, men can irritate you and women can irritate you. I don't date women. I don't even date men at this point. But
you have dated.
I have dated and I've been irritated. I've just been in like a talking stage and been irritated. So I think maybe it's just trying to find someone is where you get all those undesirable people.
Yeah.
Honestly, people are kind of jerks in general. It doesn't have to be a man or a woman, a she, a he, a they, a them.
Yeah, I was saying that people are just kind of awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the majority, maybe I'm just a little bit biased, but I think the majority of people, especially if it's on something that's admittedly like a hookup culture thing, they have no reason to try and impress you.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
they're just going to show their douchebag side, basically. Like, they can just show you, they're not trying to impress you, they're not trying to actually date you, they're not trying to build a relationship with you, so they're not putting their best foot forward. They're just like, hey, I'm here, you're there, are you willing to deal with all this?
When it just starts off with, hey, do you want to see it? Because that happens a lot. And then on apps like Tinder where they can't send you a picture, they're right away like, give me your number so I can send you pictures. And it's just like, I don't want pictures from you. And that's really typical.
I think it goes back to the hookup culture. Like, it's people that aren't looking for a meaningful connection.
And then so I'm just like, okay, I'm tired of this. I'm going to talk to women, right? Because it's so different. And it's not. And they want to lead with, look at me doing this thing naked. And it's just like...
Well, women can be overly sexualized creatures as well.
And I definitely am one of those, but I must not be to an extreme level because I don't want to start, like I was talking about, you know, you don't just walk up to someone on the street and be like, nice boobs. You know, we don't talk to each other like that.
Some people do. And unfortunately, I think it's the people that do are the ones that are on those apps. A lot of those people.
But you're assuming because you've never been on there.
I'm assuming that's true. But also, the internet gives you a form of anonymity where you will say stuff that you would not say in person. You're big and bad and bold on the internet compared to in real life.
I hate that because I'm so real, like, all the time.
Yeah. And there are people that, it could be whoever's behind one of the profiles that send you, it could be like a person like, I don't want to say his name, but your fake boyfriend?
My fake boyfriend.
Yeah. It could be someone that is in real life is just like that, like intimidated by women, this never going to approach anybody in real life, but they get on the internet and they're like, nobody really knows me. I can create whatever person I want to be.
Yeah. I don't want to say his name either. My fake boyfriend, he I don't know how he talks to anybody. I don't know how he got me to talk to him because he can't really talk to people. He's so cute. Oh my gosh, he's so sweet and he's so cute, but like he's so nervous. And he gets comfortable, but he's not initially, and so like you probably will never end up talking to him. Like he's one of those people. So I can't imagine him. I don't know how we even got to the point that we're at.
Hey, I have a whole baby with someone, and I'm like, how did you trick me into this?
Okay, so the hookup thing, I wanted to say something about that. So while I was recording, I realized like this is completely unscripted. I've been doing unscripted recordings, and while I was recording, I realized that, now this is just anecdotal, but if half of the people on Tinder don't want hookups, because they say that in their bios, they say not looking for hookups, about half of them do. And if I know you wouldn't think so because it is seen as a hookup app. So from the perspective of the cool with hookups, half of those people are couples. So you're right, it's not fair to say it's not a hookup app, but there's so many people on there, maybe not looking for the one, but they're not looking to hook up. At least that's what they say. So I don't know what happens once they start talking, once they start doing the things. Maybe they're just trying to not be that way because they see it as a negative thing. But it's just interesting to me. The whole reason I wanted to do this recording. So I switched over to looking at women, and I noticed they had this thing about zodiac signs. And you and I have talked about that, I think. Yeah. Where I don't believe in that stuff, but it's cute. Like, it's cute to think about, but it's not real. Yeah. And so
and I am just like, I can see some of the signs and the similarities between signs, but I'm also not like, your Mars is in the 4th house and this is how I have to check out.
I don't know about 4. I didn't see
like
any,
there's this whole
I had to
like
do some
birth
Googling.
chart and moon chart. I can't go that far. I was born in January. I'm a Capricorn. There are some Capricorns that act the same way as me. That's all I really know. I don't do the moon, sun, rising, dawn, sundown, none of it.
Sundown. I don't know. See, okay, so all I was really seeing, because I've seen a lot of weird stuff, but more recently, all I was really seeing is, for example, and I don't know if this is right, I'm just throwing out sign names. For example, like a Capricorn rising, a Virgo sun, and an Aries moon. right? It's that
I
kind
can't
of
do all that.
And I don't know what that is either. Yeah, I don't know what that is. But what I was thinking about, though, is like they expect men to know what that is. And you and I are women, and we don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they expect men to know what that is. I think they expect men to respond to it.
Oh,
if
like
that
they're
makes
gonna,
sense.
like they want to talk about it.
Yeah, like they're willing to teach them something about it, or even
no
just
one
like
wants to learn about that. No one at our age. Okay,
well, maybe not teach, but I mean, like, they want someone that will accept that they're into that. Maybe that's what it is.
No one at our age wants to learn this stuff.
There are weirdos everywhere.
This is
there are
garbage
weirdos.
that you learn when you're like 20.
There are weirdos everywhere at every age. Just saying that. But I think they want a man that's willing to accept that aspect of them.
They're crystal magic?
They're crystal magic moon water people.
Moonwater people.
The moonwater people.
The moonwater
That's what
people.
I have to call them. Because a lot of the ones that are really into astrology are also really into like crystals and moonwater and
well, see, and
all
I'm
that.
in a weird situation with that because like I like crystals, but I'm also not smudging things. I'm not burning sage or trying to interpret my dreams. I just think crystals are pretty and it's cute that I'm a Leo. Like, that's it. That's the whole thing. And people take it so far.
I don't really follow that and the crystals and the smudging and all that. But like I said, it's probably Christianity just tugging at me.
Yeah.
Because it's so deep rooted.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, crystals, God.
So tell me why you don't date.
I'm not looking for a relationship right now, and I can't casually date.
Why?
It's just not in me. I'm a relationship girl, even though I refuse to be in a relationship. But most time, if I do end up dating someone, it's someone that I already have known for a while. That I'm already like close friends with, i.e. the baby daddy.
So you don't hook up?
I don't hook up with any. I've never had I had one failed encounter.
What does that mean?
I tried to do a hookup one night stand thing and it didn't work, but that is because of my sexuality and everything else.
Mm-hmm. How would you describe your sexuality?
Non-existent. No, I am a demisexual woman who at this moment is not looking for a relationship, so I'm also a celibate woman.
Yeah.
And that's by choice.
So there's a lot of times where I'll come in to work after a date and you and I are real open with each other and I'll tell you about my date and you'll just look at me like an alien.
Well, it's because we have lived very different lives. That's one thing. We're currently living very different lives. But also, I don't date, and the casual, it's never been for me. Like, I've only dated boyfriends.
Yeah.
So, like, serial monogamous, I think what they call people like me. But, it's just, I don't know, because the part that confused me about you is you would say my friend, and in my mind, a friend is not a sexual partner.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know what to call them. I don't know what to call them because they're not all my boyfriends.
Yeah, so like, I don't want to say his name, but your other fake boyfriend, if we can talk about that.
Oh, I don't want to say his name either.
I'm not going to say his name. I don't even know if you wanted me to say that you had another fake boyfriend. That's why I was like, can we?
No, I love this.
Okay. So, like, when you first were talking about him, in my mind, it was just a friend of yours that you would go out and, like, do stuff with. Like, he's into the whole vibe that he's into, and you seem to, like, find that very
rock
cool.
And roll.
Yeah. So, I thought, like, that was, and so, I think one time you just casually mentioned how, like, a sexual encounter you guys had, and I was like, wait a minute, I thought he was your friend.
Well, we're friends.
I know, and I know it's possible to be just friends and have sexual, not possible for me.
Right.
But when you say friend, I don't automatically assume that it's someone that you also have a sexual relationship with.
Right.
So that's why I was like, wait a minute, do you sleep with all your friends? Because you've said friends about a lot of people. I'm like, wait, all the friends?
No, okay, so I've been asked, I don't know if I should be talking about this because I don't know who in my family watches this, but I've been asked, do you have friends that you haven't slept with? You've asked me that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do. But a lot of the time, so I don't really like people, and it's not that I don't have just friends,
Same.
but same, right? It's hard. People are difficult to be around. And so if I'm going to be around you, I have to enjoy being around you. You know, so I mean, I'm discovering more recently polyamory. So I don't want to say that I'm confused. I'm not confused. I'm just learning what works for me.
Yeah.
But no, I absolutely have friends. Not only do I have friends that I don't sleep with, but I also have friends that I've slept with and we no longer sleep together. Even though I'm active in that culture. And whether they are or not, we just don't anymore. Like my best friend, he is a girlfriend. We don't do anything.
Yeah.
It'd be inappropriate. In their relationship, there's a lot of different dynamics. Like we're talking about my fake boyfriends. It's just too far to call them my boyfriends, but they take up a great deal of my time.
Well, it wasn't like a judgy thing.
No.
And it wasn't like, how dare you? It was just really like, I was confused. Like, okay, so how many, like, all the friends that you mentioned, are you sleeping with them? But I also didn't want to come off like, are you sleeping with everybody you meet? Because I don't care. Honestly, if I'm not sleeping with you, what do I care?
No, I didn't think you were judging me at all.
Okay.
No.
Because I try to be open-minded to everybody. Because
no, I love questions.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I shouldn't say that. I like questions when
respectful questions.
we're being respectful, right?
Yeah.
And we're discovering things.
Yeah.
Not like, who do you think you are type questions.
Yeah.
I don't like those.
Because I get my own questions, and it's like, I don't even know how to do, like, I'm just figuring out myself.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask, I'm sorry, what did you call it?
Demisexuality.
Demisexuality. How sure are we that, because I haven't Googled it, and I can Google it later, but how sure are we that it's on the asexual scale?
It is on the asexual scale, as far as I've seen. It's always like presented on the asexual scale when I've researched it.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I kind of feel the asexual part doesn't really bother me because it is a form of asexuality. I get that. But the being included in the LGBTQ is the part where I feel like a fraud, because like I consider that the people that are actually living that in their lives every day, struggling with that. And I'm like, this isn't hard for me. Like, it's just how I am. Like, no, and if nobody's going to judge me really for being, because they don't know in any kind of way.
Sometimes I feel like I'm a fraud in the LGBTQ community because I'm bisexual.
That sucks.
It does suck, and I know I'm part of it because the B stands for bisexual, right? So it's pretty hard to argue. But I haven't encountered anybody in person, but there's a lot of people that think that bisexual people shouldn't be in the community, and that because I tend to date men, I've chosen a side. Or that if I'm in a relationship with a man, I've chosen a side, as if I'm no longer bisexual. But I'm still bisexual, right? Just like how you're on the asexual scale, but if you were in a relationship, you would most likely be having intercourse with that person.
Yes, I would not enter a relationship with the intention of not having sex. That's another part where I feel like a fraud, because I'm not actually asexual.
Right.
Like, asexual people are not going to have sex with people.
I think you and I are still part of that community. You might not actually, I'm part of that community, but I feel that you would be welcomed in that community if you chose to identify yourself as part of that community. I'm not sure whether you do or not, because I know, because we've talked about racial things, and I know that you've said that in the Black community, the LGBTQ community is seen a little bit differently.
It is seen a little differently, mostly by older people, if I'm honest. Because like the way I'm trying to raise my kids now is to be accepting of everybody. Don't judge anybody for who they're born as. Don't tease them for who they are as a person. That's not cool. Like, I wouldn't let you call somebody fat. I'm not going to let you call somebody gay as an insult. It's just not cool.
Yeah.
It's not a good look. There's like certain lines you can't cross, and that's what I'm seeing a lot with, if I'm honest, I think it's more with single mothers than with two-party households or like a single father, because I feel like they're a bit more toxic.
You feel that men are more toxic?
I feel like the men were raised a certain way and they think, well, there's nothing wrong with the way I was raised, so I'm going to teach my son to be manly and this and this. But everybody is not that way. And it doesn't have to be a gay son. It could just be a son that's more sensitive. Mm-hmm. And he should be allowed to be more sensitive. He should be allowed to cry and express his emotions. But it's very much, oh, man up. Don't be a big boy. Don't cry. This, and it's not.
A lot of men go through their life feeling like they can't express their emotions, that anger is the only emotion they're allowed to have. Yeah. And I was kind of talking about that too when I was talking about men on Tinder. Is a lot of profiles are very angry. They're very much like, I'm tired of this place because the women here think that they can be picky and they can do whatever they want. Well, you're not all that. And it's just like, why are you having this rant on your bio on Tinder? What are you doing? And it's sad, really. You know, it's really unfortunate that they're so angry, and you just rolled your eyes. But
well, because I consider men like that. It's like, okay, either you're very poor or very ugly, because richness can cancel out ugly. As we all know, a woman will go for a rich man. If you're poor and ugly, you're less likely to get that woman.
I don't want to agree with you.
But it's true.
I know it's true, and I hate that.
And I'm not saying women as gold diggers. I'm saying women see a man and they see stability.
Yeah.
And they'll say, okay, like, it could be like me where his looks grow on you.
Oh, I've had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the old saying, like, you can marry a poor man or a rich man. Like, you can love a rich man just as much as you can love a poor man, is the old saying. But
I've
yes,
never heard that.
yeah, it's like you can love a poor man, but you can also love a rich man and be rich. So like,
see, okay, so yeah. I always wondered if I'm one of those people, and I'm obviously not, because that took me a second.
Well, I don't know if I'm not one of those people, because there's no stability in my son's dad, if I'm honest. But I see the mindset of, why would I set myself up to struggle when I can go to someone that is stable? And you never know how life is going to work out. That stability isn't going to last forever. Anything could happen. But why would I know that I'm going to struggle when I cannot struggle just as easily?
I forgot what we were talking about.
Tinder and angry men. Well, because, like I said, I feel like they're either very ugly or very poor or both.
Oh, the people that are angry.
Yes, because they're not getting the woman that they think they deserve. This is the problem.
Yeah. People
think they deserve something. You're not promised anything in this life. No woman has to want to sleep with you. I was gonna see. I censored myself, but
I want to cuss so often when I do this.
I'm trying my hardest, but like,
you and I cuss so much.
So like, there are men that are entitlement. That's what it is. It's entitlement. They think they're entitled to a certain woman.
I talk about r/nice guys or incels. Sometimes it comes up a little bit, and you're absolutely right. They think they're owed something.
Yeah, and it's stupid. It's stupidity. Like, just because you're nice to me, that does not mean that I owe you my body.
Right.
Because then you're not really a nice guy. You're just a guy that was playing a role, trying to get something.
Well, and I love that point, especially when you and I are discussing it, because I could be seen as promiscuous, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just a fact. And I don't think that people just have a right to my body. People don't just have a right to my body.
No one has a right to your body.
I have to be really comfortable with you. And there are people that they'll come at you like that. Like, they think they have a right to your body because you're comfortable sharing your body with people.
Yeah.
But just because I let one person do something doesn't mean I let everybody do that same thing.
And that's something I think really catches young girls up. Like, once they've just lost their virginity and they're trying to find out how they are sexually, because everybody is not the same. Some people are hypersexual. Some people have a lower desire. It's just, nothing's across the board. But I feel like, especially if they're in high school or a college setting, once like, oh yeah, she let me hit, basically, then someone else is going to assume that, okay, she's willing to have sex with people. I'm going to go talk to her because I know she lets people have sex. It's like, that's not how this works.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was in high school, it's so funny because when I was in high school, I wasn't sexually active for the first half of high school,
Mm-hmm.
but I was really flirty, and people assumed that I was promiscuous at the time, which I was not. And it became really weird. Like, guys would get upset with me if I didn't want to do sex things with them because I wasn't doing those things yet. And I don't know. People suck.
People do suck. That's the theme of this. People suck.
That's the theme.
People suck. It's just a way of life. Like, I suck in some way, you suck in some way. Everybody sucks. Let's be honest.
I don't know. Do you think people that really suck think they don't? Like how we think we don't?
I think they don't see it in themselves unless they are super, super self-aware.
I feel really self-aware though.
Sometimes I feel self-aware where I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. That was a dumb thing to say this. But then there's sometimes where I'm very, like, I wouldn't say blunt, but I'm not a person to give comfort. I'm a person to try to solve a problem. So when you come to me and you're like upset about something, my first thought is, okay, we could do this, this, and this to solve the problem. It's not, oh my God, how are you feeling? So I'm not a good person to come to for advice sometimes. People suck. Men, women, he, she, theys.
Children.
Parenthood is the most ghetto hood. Let's just put it out there. Baby daddies suck sometimes, even really good ones.
Tell me about your nephew that you think might be gay.
Well, I have two nephews that I have with me. And one of them I think could be gay. Simply because he's never expressed any interest in any female. It's always been about male friends. And he's young. He's 9 now.
I knew by 9.
Yeah. So, I say that because my son and my other nephew have always expressed interest in females. They've always had a crush. Well, not always, but like since like 4. They've had crushes on somebody. They said somebody's pretty. My nephew at 2, he would roll down a window and blow kisses to women. Like, he's always been very, very female oriented. So I think that the youngest one could possibly, if he came to me and said he was gay, it's not a surprise.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, okay, I've been waiting for this.
Well, your boys are getting to an age where they're playing online games.
Yeah, they're playing a lot of online games. My oldest nephew, he has also expressed interest in makeup, like I told you.
Yeah.
Like he's also expressed interest in wigs the last week. So I don't know. I don't think it would necessarily make him gay, but I think he would like to experiment with something.
I think it's cool. You're letting him.
Of course, like,
yeah,
I can't
cool.
stop. It's nothing serious. Like I said, it was just mascara the last time and some lip gloss. Nothing heavy. I'm not buying him his own makeup kit. None of that. It's just like,
Why not?
Because
he's young.
He's
not
young.
Because he's a boy.
Yeah, not because he's a boy. It's just he's young. So I'm not going to waste that money when he's on the spectrum, so he loses interest in things a lot anyways.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'll let him play with a few of my items. I don't have a lot, but I'll let him play with. And then I bought him his own lip gloss. So
I love that. So the reason I brought up they're playing online games is because the boys
it's a very, very toxic, homophobic situation. Yes. Yeah. That's where they got the gay jokes from. And that's where it's been the hardest to break them of that, and you're stupid. Like, those are the two where I'm like, stop talking to each other like that.
My mom says that, like, lovingly.
Yeah, no, but they're like, they'll just like go in on each other, and I'm like, don't talk to, and it's always like stuff they've heard online.
Yeah, well, of course, they're little sponges.
Yeah, so for the longest time, they didn't even have mics or headphones or anything, so most of the time they're
weren't just screaming.
Yeah, so yeah, they literally were. They're just screaming yeah. So for Christmas, I got my son and my oldest nephew mics with the headset.
Oh God, that
And
sounds nice.
of course, immediately one of them was broken. So, but like now they kind of listen, and I've noticed that the oldest nephew, he likes that aspect the most. I think, like a community, I think he feels like he's a part of, because he doesn't really connect with a lot of people in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, he's on the spectrum, so he just does not connect. So even if he's just listening to them talk and they can't hear what he's saying, he'll have that option on sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, and then my son's dad is not a horrible toxic person, but he does have gender roles that he thinks.
From what you've told me, your son's father seems like a really good dad.
He's a wonderful dad. I can't stand him sometimes.
Well, he's your ex.
Yes, but he's a really, really good dad. That's one thing I can never ever take away from him, is how much he loves his children. Like, he'll go to the ends of the earth for his children. That's for sure.
So the one that you suspect might be gay is a nephew.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think he would say if the nephew came out?
That's where I'm not quite sure, because I know he has a bond with them, but he's also like very much like nephew's son.
Oh.
So he, like with me, I just call him all my boys a lot.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little surprised.
Yeah. So, but he's never really been close with. He doesn't really like people. So like, he was like, I can't believe I love this kid so much, and like he focuses a lot on his child. Not saying he neglects them.
No.
I'm just saying, like,
he's just more focused on his biological.
Yeah, he's very, because
I mean, he didn't ask for that. He didn't ask for the nephews.
And I think he was even surprised how much he loves his son.
Yeah.
Because it's his son over he'll pick his son over me. He'll pick his son over his mom. The only person I don't is the other 2 daughters that he has. I don't think he would make a choice between them.
That's hard to ask someone to do something.
So
like that.
That's the only people. Like, he'll pick his son over his girlfriend. He'll pick, like,
good.
It's over
good.
Everybody else. Like, he might, when he first started dating her, like, he would change his schedule around and stuff. But once it got to a point where they're serious, like, look, these days I go visit my son, and that's it. And so they worked it out. I don't know how it worked for them, but like, he's like, I'm not gonna prioritize anybody over my kid. And at the time, I was his only kid. So I wouldn't say that. I don't want to say he favors him more, because it's not that. Like, he does for all of them. It's just, I think it's hard for him to equate the love that he has for his kids for anyone else that's not his kid.
Yeah. And
I can understand that, because there's times when I'm like, wait a minute, I don't want to do something special just for this one, and not for, like, I have to do 3 of everything.
You have to do 3 of everything, because
it's very annoying.
By the third one, you must be like really good at it.
Yeah. So like, when I go out and buy, like, sometimes you just want to give a special, like, little treat. I was be like, oh yep, I gotta get 3, so I normally have to find 3 different things that are somehow the same. Like, maybe 3 different colors of the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
So they kind of have like set colors too at this point.
What are their set colors?
Red, green, and blue.
That's great.
Yeah, so
which
like,
one's your son?
Blue is my son, green is my younger nephew, and red or black is the older nephew.
Red or black? That's
red
cool.
or black, yeah. So they're kind of set colors. It fluctuates depending on what I get them. Sometimes it'll be something different. I totally forgot I got something and didn't get the boys. I just remembered.
What is it?
It's a little poppet thing. Let me show you this.
Oh, one of those toys.
Yeah, he's on the spectrum and he likes textures.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like I'm gonna play with it more. Yeah. But I got him a little poppet thing.
Oh, can we open it? Sure. He won't know.
Yes, he will. My nephew knows. But yeah, it's a little puppet.
Ooh, I want one. You got him a rainbow one. How do you feel about the gays stole the rainbow from God?
What?
You don't know about that?
No, that's stupid.
I don't remember who said it. I see. Did you want to play with this?
Yeah.
I don't remember who said it. I see it online that, like, I don't want to say like Republicans, but like religious people,
Conservatives,
like,
maybe?
I guess, will say, you know, that gay people stole the rainbow from God, or that gay people appropriated the rainbow from God.
When was the rainbow only associated with God is my question. Because I can't think of it.
It wasn't.
Like, I can't think of any. I think after the Noah's Ark, maybe there was a rainbow that appeared, but never did I see any Christian group claiming
I could see someone
rainbow.
trying to do that, the ark thing.
Yeah, I can see where the might, but I also, like, there's never been a Christian group that claimed the rainbow like they claimed the cross.
Right.
Or like
and
the Jewish people claim the Star of David. I don't
think they mean it that way. I think they mean it like, well, that was God's and now it's not because it's the gays and it can't be both.
My only issue with this is, if you believe in God so much, where do you think the gay people came from? Are they not products of God that you love so much?
I don't know. I don't get to talk about stuff like that with Christians. I think that because I get angry.
Yeah.
And so I just stop wanting to talk to them. Like, I don't want to fight, so I just won't talk.
I was raised in a Kojic household, and that's Church of God in Christ, a Pentecostal, a former Pentecostal religion. But I've never questioned my pastor or any of the leaders of the church, if I'm honest, because we have gay people in our church, but they're never like openly. It's just like, you know, they're gay, but they're never really open with it.
Oh.
So, and I've heard a few sermons about homosexuality. I think the one I remember the most is after the gay marriage passed, maybe.
What did they say about it?
It went back to the whole homosexuality is a sin, and it was like, the government can say whatever they want, but the church knows the truth, or something like that. I feel like it was around that time, probably. But I never questioned, like, I don't have that relationship with my pastor where I walk up and talk to him about anything theological, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Even though he is my pastor, and I love him, and like, he's been my pastor since I was a baby. So
it's weird to think about.
So, but it's also just like, I never go up and question him about what he thinks about anything. It's just, I listen to the sermons, I take in what I can take in, and I leave. So I am kind of curious, like, okay, the older Christians are the super Christians.
Super
Christians. Like, I grew up with my grandmother. She was very into the church. I was not allowed to wear pants. Then I was allowed to wear pants at school, but I was never allowed to wear pants to church. And if I stepped into the congregation, that's the actual place where they do the sermons in our churches.
I remember when I was a kid, I thought that the girls were only allowed to wear dresses to church.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
To this day, I most likely will not wear a dress to an actual church service. Maybe to like a choir rehearsal, I'll wear pants. But if it's going to be like an actual church service, I'm going to be in a dress.
I couldn't imagine you in a dress.
Oh, I actually just went out and bought so many dresses because they're so cool.
Do you look hot?
I don't look at myself that way.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's my own thing that I'm working with, that I have to work through on my own insecurities and everything. But yeah, I like dresses. I do like dresses. I just pants and leggings are just so convenient at the same time. Just like throw them on,
they're nice.
Throw a shirt, and I'm gone.
Especially when you're curvy and your thighs are together. Yeah.
So, but like, I like especially in summer, a nice sundress, and then I feel like I
want to find a sundress I'm comfortable in.
Oh, you don't like dresses?
I'm overweight.
I am too. But I don't know, dresses kind of, like, leggings and dresses are the same thing to me. Like, I can throw on a dress just as soon as I can throw on some leggings.
I don't like leggings. It's like not wearing pants. But I also don't want to wear pants. It's complicated. I want to wear pants out. Well, I want to wear pants when people can see. Well, I want to wear pants when strangers can see me.
You don't like clothes, though.
No. I'll send. I can't remember which one we designated which, but I sent one of my fake boyfriends this meme that was just about nudity, and he goes, "You," and I was just like, oh, he knows. Because my roommate, he's trying his now brother, but I'm gonna say sister so that we all know what I'm saying. His sister just came out as trans.
Oh, okay.
So he's a brother now. And I was
How's he handling that?
That's what I was getting at. I was so proud of him for referring to them as his brother.
That's wonderful.
It was so sweet. I was so proud of him, and I couldn't tell him, because how weird and awkward for your roommate to be like, oh my god, I'm so proud of you, even though him and I are like really close friends.
I don't know how easily I would transition.
Oh, he's having a hard time, but he's doing good. Like, he's making a real effort.
That I think I can make the effort, and I'll probably slip up a few times, but I can try my hardest to refer to you as how you want to be referred.
Yeah. Well, he's military and leans right and stuff. And so when I found out she became he, and I told him, hey, you have a brother now, and he was like, what do you mean? And I told him.
Oh, you told him?
It was on Facebook.
Oh.
And he hadn't seen it yet, and I knew he hadn't seen it yet because he hadn't said anything. I wasn't sure what to expect, because he's aggressive, like that kind of aggressive white privilege, white male thing that we see so often. But what's interesting about that, though, is he's not like toxic genders. He doesn't do stuff like that. He's actually sensitive and stuff. But I don't know, he's got this thing about race and other genders, non-conventional genders. And so it's just like, I wasn't sure what to expect. And then he started referring to his sibling as his brother, and it was just really sweet.
Yeah. Let's understand. Like, I can understand. I don't have any. I'm trying to think. No, I don't have any trans people in my family. There's gay people. There's bi people.
I have someone in my family who's back and forth.
Yeah, I don't have any actual trans people in my family, but so I don't have that experience. But I imagine it'd be very, very hard for them to come out to our family if they were.
Yeah, I'm not sure how his sibling really handled it. I just know that it was on Facebook. I saw it on Facebook.
I can imagine it'd be very hard, because there's two actual generations above us that are still kicking it around, and they're very, very pro Christianity, anti they're kind of homophobic. They're I hate the sin but I love the sinner people. And so it's like, but how can you love them if you consider them a sinner?
Yeah.
And not to say that you have to be a perfect person to be loved, but just like, you're calling them a sin, basicly.
They're trying to justify their hatred.
Yeah. So, the black community and the black church can be so toxic towards anybody that differs from their set norms.
I don't know that there's necessarily a white church, but in the opposite direction is what you're saying. They also don't like gay people.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it's not. I'm not saying that white people don't have to struggle with people that are Christian and everything else. Oh, because there are some, like, it's a cult for some people, the way they treat their religion.
Yeah,
but
sometimes.
Generally, the black community is kind of formed around the church, if that makes sense. Like, church is a very big thing for a lot of, not every black community, there's not, but in general, from what I've been accustomed to, what I've noticed is that there's a strong sense of community, and the black community is kind of formed around the church. And so you don't get excommunicated like in the Catholic Church where nobody's allowed to speak anything, but you'll be looked down on. And they won't do actual conversion therapy. They'll try to pray the gay away though. They'll try to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and the few gay people that have come through our church, you can tell how they're not fully accepted.
Like they're looked at different.
Yes, they're definitely looked at differently. They're gossiped about. The church, the choir leader is always a thing. And yes, we did have that choir leader in our church.
Oh, the choir leader's always gay.
The choir, if it's a male, it's going to be a gay person. Or even if they don't come, like they don't have to come, you're just going to assume that they are.
Yeah.
And our choir leader just happened to be, even though he's never said it. No, that's not true. At one point, he said that he was delivered from homosexuality.
Well, he said
I'm pretty sure he ended up right back in it.
Yeah, well, I mean, not that I condone, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's just celibate.
Oh, no, he married a woman, and as far as I know, he then had a boyfriend afterwards. It's a whole thing.
Oh, my God.
It's a whole thing.
All right, well, I hope he finds happiness.
I don't know what he's doing right now, but okay.
Yeah.
But it was just something that's not talked about out loud, but trust me, everybody was going home like, did you see so-and-so and his wife? You know he ain't really married to that woman the way he's supposed to be married to something. You know what I mean?
That's gross. Like,
yeah.
That's sad. The way you're supposed to be married that sucks.
Yeah, so we acknowledged her as his wife, but we also knew, like, this is his beard. Like, there's no other way to put it. And
that
so
must be really hard
they
for
were,
him.
yeah, in her. So I'm like,
about that. I was with a guy that came out of the closet.
Nobody that I've been with has came out the closet, as far as I know.
It's a really weird feeling. Like, it feels like you want to be angry, but you can't be because nobody did anything wrong.
I'm not homophobic. But I do feel like
I
know
say, I'm not racist,
but
say something racist.
Because I'm not saying that he's not allowed to come out of the closet. I'm not saying that he's not allowed to date, to explore, or whatever. But I feel like there's a point where you know who you are, and if you are dating someone that you know is not the sex that you feel like you're supposed to be with, like, that you know deep down, like, he knew he liked men.
Well, he knew he liked women. He just didn't like women anymore.
I don't see how that happens.
I don't know either, because it's never happened to me. Like, that part didn't happen to me.
Like,
he didn't, like, turn gay. He just realized he was gay.
But I don't... This is me talking as a straight person, so it could just be coming from ignorance.
No, it's fine.
But I have always known that I'm straight. Like, I've never...
Well, that's kind of what I was trying to say was when he was questioning. So, like, I just assumed that maybe he questioned it the whole time and just figured he must be straight because he thought women were pretty. You know, gay people think women are pretty.
I think women are pretty, but I'm not a lesbian or a bisexual person, nor am I pan.
I guess, I don't always know what I'm saying because I'm bisexual, so I forget that straight people find both genders attractive sometimes.
Yeah, well, I'm a special case, so I don't know. I don't necessarily find people attractive, but I can acknowledge their attractive traits, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to be sexually attracted to them unless I form a bond. So I say, oh yeah, she has pretty eyes, she has nice boobs.
But even then, because you formed bonds with women and didn't feel a sexual attraction, so it's not just that.
Yeah, it's not just that, but
because a lot of the time I feel like asexual people are kind of almost seen as like bisexual.
Really?
Yeah, it seems that way to me. I don't think I've ever talked about it with somebody before, but a lot of the time it seems like asexuality is just either they're gay or they're bisexual. They're never straight and ace. Yeah.
That's interesting. Because I'm not I'm not an asexual person. I'm a demisexual person. So.
Yeah, but it's on the spectrum, supposedly.
Yeah, I'm just, like, trying to figure out, like, maybe, I don't know, because I've known one other asexual person, and that was a while ago. But they were never going to have sex with anybody at any point. They were never attracted to anybody in a sex, like, at all. So I don't know if they would have considered themselves bisexual or gay or anything like that, because they just didn't see people as sexual creatures. So I don't know, because there's so many, like, there's sapiosexual, there's pansexual, there's demisexual, there's all the different, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, because asexual is not saying what gender you prefer.
No,
so maybe that's why people
yeah.
get confused. They think that you don't prefer either gender, but it's a scale.
Yeah.
But bisexuality is also a scale.
I've heard that.
Yeah. And I'm pansexual. Sometimes I'm not sure if I'm pansexual or bisexual, but there's a lot of times where I'll see like transgender people and think, oh, they're really attractive. I would definitely date them.
I don't understand pansexual because I feel like it's covered by bisexual, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think a lot of people who are pansexual also claim bisexuality.
So they're like, oh, it just means that I'm attracted to anybody, but that's also bisexual, because if I see a trans person, I'm going to see them as who they are presented to me as.
But the word bi implies two.
That's true. But I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna get canceled. But I'm a person that if someone is trans, then they are the gender that they prefer or were not born as. Like,
it's more that if they're trans, they're whatever gender they feel. So
yes. So, but my point is, even if I can't tell that you're trans, because there are people that you just cannot clock. They look wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Then there are people that are like, okay, you didn't shave that Adam's apple down enough, so like you didn't have to tell me you're trans. I got that.
So you're supposed to just go with whatever gender they want to be called.
Yes, but my point, which got kind of lost in that, is there are some people that don't have to tell me they're trans. I just know they're trans.
Sure.
And I'm going to refer to you however you tell me to refer to you.
You're assuming that they're trans.
Yes.
So there's a lot of what's the word for that? That's ambiguous. There's some ambiguous or androgynous. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of androgynous people that I don't ask them because I don't think it's polite to ask, but you don't know what gender they are. Yeah.
Well, okay, I only said that because I don't consider trans people as a whole nother sexuality. And that feels like, when I say it, it feels like I'm trying to erase them, and I'm not, because they have their own lived experience and they deserve their own title in their own community.
Well, a lot of the time, a trans person would be, straight or bisexual or pansexual or what have you. Yeah. Just like asexuality. But we don't think about it that way.
I said that to say, like, when people, it was the pan versus bi thing, where, like, people are like, oh, but I can be with trans, but that's just a woman or a man to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, no matter the gender they were born, as soon as they come into the person that they were always supposed to be.
Well, I think on some level we must agree with you, because we also tend to claim bisexual. When you say that you're pansexual, a lot of the time you also claim bisexuality.
The pansexual one's the one that I can't quite, because I'm like,
we'll also fly a rainbow flag without flinching.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pansexual is the one that confuses me, because I'm really just like,
I think pansexuality confuses a lot of people.
Yeah. I don't get that one quite.
And I can't tell you that I could fully explain it to you either. I just know that it's more than being bisexual.
The way it was explained to me was, it just means that I can be with anybody, but I'm like,
but you could be with
bisexual.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to explain. It's more just to explain that gender doesn't matter.
But is that not the same with bisexual people?
It's hard to explain.
Gender matters to bisexual
I feel like I know why there's a difference, but I'm having a hard time explaining
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Because I have a hard time explaining being demisexual, and there are people that just are like, oh no, you're just this. No, I know exactly. I figured it out. It took me a long time. Yeah. That's why I'm confident in what I am now.
That's good. Good for you. When did you start saying it openly that you're demisexual?
I don't really talk about my sexuality that often because there's like nothing there.
It's like
But-
non-existent.
yeah,
non-existent
so it
sexuality.
doesn't really come up a lot anymore. But before I even knew what the term demisexual was, I was telling like family and friends like I don't hook up with people. I can't hook up with people. Like I have to have a boyfriend if I'm going to have sex. And I didn't have the word for it back then. So I haven't had to like come out. I hate to say it that way.
It's like the same story, except I was in 6th grade. I was like, I knew I was bisexual, but I didn't have the word for that.
Yeah, so I don't think as a person that's demisexual, I have to come out as it is. It's just I've expressed it so many times over the years that I don't feel the need to tell them, well, now I know exactly what it is and I'm demisexual. Like, I just don't feel the need. They already accepted me as who I am.
I feel that way about being polyamorous.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, people who really know me know that I have a hard time with relationships because I want to share my body with people. And so now that I've figured it out and people are kind of just like, yeah, we know. You know?
We were waiting for you to figure it out. I already knew it.
Like, oh my gosh, okay, so I'm going to repeat the story as if you weren't there. We have this, we have a coworker that was very feminine, and he came in and was talking with us, and we were very friendly with him, and then at one point he said he was gay, and I straight up was just like we didn't know?
Yeah.
Like, you're kidding.
Yeah, he was very, I wouldn't say he's overly feminine. I wouldn't say he's flamboyant, but it's like obvious.
I would say he's flamboyant.
But
I wouldn't call him overly feminine. I feel like that's rude, but he's pretty feminine.
Yeah, but I don't think he's like flamboyant. I don't see him like carrying a purse. I don't see him like putting on makeup. Like, you know what I mean? I don't see like flamboyant.
I think
like,
he's just
he's just like, honestly, I think he's comfortable.
Yeah, well, no, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him, but it's just funny, that concept of like, you don't gotta tell people.
Yeah,
Some people don't gotta tell people.
that's true. If it's someone that I'm getting to know, that I'm becoming friends, like when I told you, and I just like blurted it out, and then you're like, what does that mean? And I'm like, I just remembered that people don't know now. But so I'm comfortable saying it, but it's just like with most of my family and friends, I haven't had to like put the word to it.
A lot of people don't really know what pansexual means, and I get a lot of jokes about like cookware, or like
That's so stupid.
or
but
like
yeah, I see
or
it.
like the pan, like as in like the Seder, you know?
Okay.
Pansexual. Like,
Yeah, I'm sure you get a lot of those.
I get a lot of that. Yeah.
That's stupid though.
What's funny too is like when I decide to say bisexual, I get a lot of jokes with that too, because I'm on dating sites, and so people are like, "How are you single? You have 2 options."
You have all the options basically.
F you guys. No, the older I get, the more picky I've become. I just don't want to put up with stupid stuff anymore. Like, I can't cuss. I want to cuss. I can't do it anymore. I can't do...
That's a maturity coming in.
Ah.
It is, and that's not to say you're
I
immature.
want to be a kid forever.
It's not saying you're immature, but there is, as you get older, like, things change. Your wants and needs change. What you value changes. And I think you're getting to a change, basically. And that's not to say that you have to be boring, or that you're always gonna be with one person.
Definitely not.
Not that. It's just like you're recognizing, like, hey, this isn't worth my time.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of where the thing about, and then they just come in and they just want to talk about sex right away, and it's just like, yeah, they know what they want, and they're trying to weed you out.
And at some point, you probably appreciated that.
Yeah, in a way, I do kind of appreciate
Yeah, it's
that.
like, well, at least I know what you want and what you're here for.
Yeah, it's just, I get tired of feeling like I'm not being talked to like a person, like with respect.
Mm-hmm.